Hello and welcome to another Top Speed RC video. Today we will be doing our official review on the Yeti XL RTR. I bought this truck a while ago. Our unboxing videos posted on the channel. Overall, it's obviously a Yeti XL RTR. First topic we got to cover, we got the drivetrain on it.
Get rid of this so you can actually see it.
The drivetrain is called an all metal drivetrain. There is an exception to that with the wild board drive shaft going from your output shaft of your transmission to the input shaft on your diff. Haven't had any trouble with that. It's very, very solid. Another part of the drivetrain that I've had a lot of issues with is the bearings throughout the truck have just been awful. Mainly, the biggest problems have been the input shafts for both the front and rear diffs. Those thin bearings just wore very, very quickly. I was going about 10 runs before I blew one. I lost one diff because a bearing went out. The bearings have just been garbage right from the get-go. Since then, I have upgraded to fast eddy bearings. Those have been a lot better. So far, they've been pretty good bearings.
So just to explain quick, we've changed our review system a little bit since our last reviews, and instead of out of 100, we decided to trim it down a little bit to out of 70 points. All our categories are 10 points now, and so obviously we only have 7 of them. So our first category is drivetrain, obviously, as he's been explaining. So what would you give the drivetrain on a score?
Overall, I'd give the drivetrain 7 out of 10 based on the bearings and how they've gone and made me lose a diff. Everything else has been very solid. Axles and diffs themselves without the bearings have been great. The bearings have just been the weakest point of this truck so far.
And the hubs. The hubs are terrible from the factory.
Yes, Paul brings up a good point. The hubs are cast aluminum, which out of the box I thought would be fine. Since then I have snapped one in half. How I did that I have absolutely no idea. But
and the caps to them, the dumb screw-on caps.
Yeah, another point Paul brings up, the 8mm hexes with the big flange that the RTR has are garbage. I have Hot Racing makes 17mm ones that work with the standard axle shafts that the Yeti comes with, so they screw onto the 8mm hub. So our next topic is going to be electronics of the truck. Overall, I haven't been too unhappy with them. It's got the Vanguard brushless 8-scale motor with the Vanguard ESC. Pretty much the rebranded Sidewinder the 8s from Castle. ESC comes with a fan from the factory. The motor did not. I upgraded to the Castle Creations blower fan shroud. That thing has been very good. Moves a decent amount of air. Keeps the motor pretty cool. I did have trouble during the summer on sand. I think I might have thermal shut down the ESC once or twice, but other than that, it was a pretty hot day when that happened. Other than that, the drivetrain and electronics have been flawless. The biggest negatives on the electronics have been the receiver and the servo. The receiver right out of the box, I was having problems with it. It had about a range of about 50 feet before I'd lose it, which was not good. I sent it into Axial and they fixed it for me. Apparently it's not too common of a problem. But finally, the biggest problem was the servo. The servo is a piece of junk.
It's awful. It's awful.
It's strong enough for a 10th scale Traxxas slash, and this is a little bigger than a 10th scale Traxxas slash. It's a 151 ounce inch Tactic servo. It just does not have enough power to move the massive wheels that come on this truck. So I'll be upgrading that soon. It's a definite weak point of the truck. And due to that fact, the servo mainly, because the rest of the electronics have been just fine, I'm going to give the electronics a 7 out of the box. Our next category that we're going to bring up is suspension and tires. The suspension has been very, very good. The shocks are 16 millimeter shocks. They come with the non-dual rate springs. I haven't had too much trouble with the shocks. I really like how they run. They're very smooth. The one big problem with the suspension has been torque twist right out of the box, like most other RTRs. I upgraded it to the sway bar that the kit Yeti has. When you do that upgrade, unlike the kit, which only comes with 1 sway bar, this one came with 3. I have the stiffest one in there right now, and it basically removes next to all the torque twist.
It's a lot better.
I've been very happy with it overall.
Drive the truck again.
Yeah, it's a very easy install. The truck doesn't flip, torque twist itself over or anything like that. No, it's probably the best upgrade I've done to the truck so far for driving performance. Tires, I've been quite happy with the tires. The tread on them is great. They're very grippy. My biggest gripe about the tires was with the rims. The other day when I was running it, I broke the center of the rim right off. How I did that, I have no idea. Again, but
he drives like a Nancy too, so I don't know how it happened.
If you have to put it that way.
I can second that. He drives his trucks a little bit softer than me and Paul do. Not that that's bad. It's just he drives it
Just a
soft.
fact.
So I did break that. So we'll have to see how they hold up in the future, seeing as that was just one occurrence. But
So, by the way, just to clarify, we're combining suspension and tires into one 10-point category. So.
Yeah. Out of 10, since the wheel braking was a minor deal, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Unless you're not like Marvin scam Axial out of tires. We'll get to that later.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Our next topic is going to be durability. Overall, the truck's been very durable. I've broken a few things. Shortly after I got it, I broke an A-arm. I have since upgraded to RPM. Okay, now that I look at it, it's probably not been all that reliable. I've broken the A-arm. I've broken the steering linkage, which is very, very, very weak for the kind of mass in these tires that's moving. I have burned out a servo due to water getting in it. It shorted out.
They claim it's waterproof, but it's not.
No, it isn't. Bearings went and I broke a diff. Bearings have gone throughout the truck in multiple spots.
When that servo burned out, it smelled nasty. It was gross.
Other than that, the truck has been pretty good. That's quite a few things to break, I realize, but the truck.
Finally, the truth comes
The
out.
truck's been. I've thought the truck's been pretty solid for what I've done with it.
Not too bad. You launched Test Hill at Silver Lake, if everyone knows what that is. Not on purpose.
The durability, based on just what I've broken, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna second that 6 out of 10 on there. I mean, it hasn't broken like over insanely much, but it has broken some parts.
I'll give him that. That's a fair score on the durability, because to be honest, I thought he was gonna give it about a 9 out of 10. So for him to actually realize the truth and give it a 6, that's pretty good.
Proud of you, Marv. It's
Okay.
been a big step in your life.
Moving on from their sarcasm. Our next category is going to be upgradability and parts access. Much like the kit Yeti, seeing as they're both the very same platform, the upgradability isn't great. You can get RPM A-arms, which are very, very nice. I've got those on it. You can get RPM shock mount. You can Hot Racing makes many parts for it,
Basically the entire truck.
pretty much everything. But other than Hot Racing, you really don't get much.
You get a Vanquish rear axle for half your soul.
Yeah. And I really have had no issue with the rear axle. I think it's quite solid. But overall, I think parts compatibility or the upgradability will become better and better as time goes on. The truck's still pretty new. Parts access isn't great due to the fact that no hobby store really stocks the parts on it. So for a combined score on those two, I'm gonna have to give it a 6 again.
Most parts stores can get parts for it real fast and real easy, but they just don't have them on the shelf. There's not enough of these trucks out there quite yet.
It's just a pain. It's not like your typical Traxxas vehicle where if you say we're running a day and I'm running my Revo and he's running his Yeti, say he breaks something, say I break something at the same time, I can go get a part. Unless it's a chassis, I can get it that day. For him, he's got to wait minimum of 2 days. So I mean, like they said, you can order it, but it's just it can be annoying if you're going for like say an all day, just gonna run all day and you break something. So
Just plan on having a couple extra parts around in your toolkit and rubber be fine, but you just can't get it immediately like that.
Okay, so moving on to our next topic is working ease. I've done quite a bit of work on the truck, mainly to the front and rear diffs. Just lots of re-greasing and stuff like that. I haven't thought it was too bad to work on, especially the rear diff I've found to be quite easy to work with. The front diff's a little bit more difficult. When I went through the whole truck and did the bearing upgrade, I found the transmission to be very easy. Steering linkage is difficult but manageable. So overall, for working ease, I'd probably have to give it a 8 out of 10.
I am not going to second that at all. I think it's a rather difficult truck to work on. Not like hard, but it's more of a pain than like if you're thinking like 8-scale buggy or something easy. Everything bolts at the top of the chassis, it unbolts like that. / 2-wheel drive, everything is bolts in and unbolts. This, to get to the front diff and get it out, you have to pull the A-arms out. You have to unbolt the front skid plate, take the front bumper off, take off most of the front suspension parts, take the front shocks out, and then you can finally get the cover out. And then you have to get the pinion out and everything else and slide that all out to get that all apart. To get the rear axle, the rear diff out, you have to take all the lockouts out. You have to slide the axles out. Then you have to get this out, and then it slides out. The rear isn't over too bad, but it's definitely not an 8 out of 10, I don't think.
Okay, moving on from working ease, we've got our next topic of out-of-the-box quality. This truck had a few faults out of the box. Big one was the tires. The tires did not come completely glued. Simple fix if you have tire glue. Another fault, the shocks were not completely filled with oil, and the diffs were not completely filled with oil either, and there was not near enough grease in them for the kind of runtime you expect to have out of the box before you have to start maintaining it. I contacted Axial about all these faults, and they were quite helpful about it, and Paul will now give you a sum up of what happened.
Like free everything out of Axial. You got a whole second set of tires. You got shock oil, diff fluid, the whole 9 yards out of Axial for free. So they're a pretty good company to work with. I'll give them that.
Out of the box quality isn't great, but I have to give Axial's customer service 10 out of 10, even though we're not really putting that as part of our review. Their customer service has been great for me. So overall, out of the box quality, I'm gonna have to give it a 5, just because of the things that were wrong with it out of the box were quite major and could possibly stop you from running it right away. So while our resident accountant adds up the score,
The calculus students will sit here.
yep. Overall, I've been very happy with the truck. It's ran great, taken all the abuse I've given it, which hasn't been much, I guess, but
So anyways, our final score that we came up with was 47 out of 70, which falls into our need some upgrades category, which, I mean, I would say would be fair. What do you think, Marv?
I think overall it's pretty fair for what I've upgraded. Most of what I've seen has been an issue so far, and overall I think that's a pretty good sum up of what the truck is.
I pretty much agree with everything they said with the final sum up. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
So thanks for watching our review of the Yeti XL RTR, and please like and subscribe the video, and have a good day.